Hi, I'm Corinne Snow and this is Note to Self. I believe that God left evidence of himself in everything, in nature, in science, in us. I believe everything that God created is connected, and that science is just uncovering everything the Bible has already said. In this series, I'm gonna try to connect the dots. Today's first episode is going to be about anxiety and what anxiety is, and I want to give you a different perspective of a way to view anxiety, a way that helped me to overcome it, and I'm hoping that this helps y'all. Before we start, some context about what we're about to talk about. In the context of what we're about to talk about, I need y'all to understand like a few things for me. One is that you as a human being are not just a physical human being, you are also a soul. You have an eternal soul that does not die. The only thing that dies when we pass on is the physical body. Your spiritual state will always be intact until eternity, because you're an eternal being, okay? You're a part of God. And then the other thing is that the universe here on earth is a mirror, and everything around us, like, just think of it as like when you go to a carnival and you went through a mirror maze when you were younger. That is what the earth is. That is what reality is. Earth is a light planet. You are a light being. Rainbow? But how do you think a rainbow is possible? Like colors, all this, and like all this stuff. It's a reflection. It's scientifically been proven that reality is not solid. It is liquid. It is ever changing. It's on a quantum level. It really does not exist unless it is observed. Understand that, okay? So let's get into it. So when I was a senior in high school, I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression, and I went to counseling for it. And the majority why I suffered from anxiety and depression was, and the thing that made it like severe, was the fact that I didn't understand what was happening to me, and I didn't want to self-diagnose myself. And when I finally got to the state where I couldn't hide it anymore, like I was having like 6 panic attacks a day, it was insane, and I was mentally and physically exhausted, like would come home and like absolutely crash, like would be crying, didn't know why I was crying, literally thought I was going crazy, told my parents, went to counseling. At the end of the counseling thing, because I ended up having to go to college, so my counseling sessions weren't, like, I probably went to like 6 in total. And the last thing I told her, once like I understood what anxiety was, which I will get into explaining, is that the perspective that God was trying to get me to see, something that he was wanting me to become, or develop into, by going through whatever this thing was at the time, was worth whatever it was. Like, it was worth it. I owed him that much, okay? Like, literally, I was just like, that's worth it. That's good enough for me. If you're telling me that what's happening to me is, like, it scientifically makes sense, it biblically makes sense, and in my life, God is above everything, and I believe he trumps everything. So if that all is correct, and I have the same power he does, okay, then I'm good. Like, I'm great. Like, okay, then I'll do this. So this is just like, this is a practice run. This is a test. This is a not a test. I'm gonna say this is just like, this is training. We got to get all the kinks out. God has to destroy us before he rebuilds us, because he has to, everything you think you understand, like when you truly get to that point of what people would call quote unquote awakening, all that stuff just like melts away. Because in Ephesians 4:7 that he will give us a deep sense of peace. And so I constantly prayed for peace instead of understanding, because understanding can go up and down, like, oh my gosh, I get it this day, I don't get it that day. But if I have peace in the person who created everything, then I'm good, I'm Gucci, like, I'm great. And at the end of the counseling session, my counselor told me she should have paid me for the counseling session. I was like, okay, cool. So now I'm gonna break it down. Now I will say that was just the beginning. Me acceptance of knowing that I'm bigger than this, and that I'm somebody who just like likes to know everything. It's I feel like it's a sense of insecurity from when I was younger, that I didn't have control over a lot of where I was told to go, how literally I didn't have a say in any of my life. Like, I literally ended up from a third world country in America. Like, me 7-year-old me do not choose that, right? So me being that, I have a sense of wanting to control things sometimes, and so because of that, I like to know everything. Like, if you give me a math problem, like, I have to know how, where, and how you got it. I have to know the nitty. I just like to know how everything works. And so I did the due diligence, and that is what sprung me into doing the research that I have done to now put me at peace, and I no longer suffer from depression or anxiety, and I haven't for a while. And I see people and friends that suffer from it, and I'm like, I have this knowledge and I'm just sitting on it, and I could just tell people about it. And sometimes I think it won't help people, because I couldn't even tell y'all why, but I'm just offering a perspective because this helped me, and I hope it'll help somebody else. But so when I started researching anxiety, one of the things that I was curious about was like how it affected your bodies, because my counselor talked about is fight, flight, or fight or flight mode, whatever. Like, when you're scientifically, how she said it to me was in evolution, when we were, when you were a caveman and stuff like that, and a bear came at you or whatever, like, your brain thinks there's a bear, a black bear, just like charging at you, even though you may be just sitting in your car. So your brain thinks you're being attacked by something, but what are you being attacked by? Who knows? So you have to figure out how to control your reaction to it. So in counseling, they teach you techniques, how to calm yourself down and stuff. And me, I was like, that's cool, but I need to know how to permanently kill it, how to nip it in the bud, because I can't, that's not good enough for me, respectfully. Like, it helped, but it wasn't good enough for me. So then I started doing research, and then I start researching about trauma and development years, and so I get into the understanding what trauma is. And for me, I didn't know what trauma was, and for a long time I did not think I had trauma. Like, I, for some reason, never thought I did. My counselor told me, you probably do, sweetie, because my early childhood was very traumatic, so I just thought I was superwoman, I guess. But found out about your development years, which is from the ages of 1 through 7 is your development years, which is where you learn like social cues. If you think about it, it takes a lot to function in society. There's like little details and rules that people know that you're never really taught. You just observe as a child from your parents, and you keep it pushing. And depending on nurture versus nature, stuff like that, and who your parents were, and how, and if there was abuse and things like that, you develop trauma, or you don't develop trauma. And so based off that trauma, you develop certain things like hypervigilancy, anxiety, PTSD, stuff like that. So I started going down that rabbit hole of figuring out what are my traumas and what causes them, and how the heck can I get rid of them, because I don't want to have a midlife crisis at 40 or 50. because I found out something I didn't find out earlier on, because I didn't want to sit and do the self-work about it. So I started doing that and understanding what it was, and so understand there was probably something in my childhood that required me to fight or flight. And so understanding that actually helped me not be afraid of it, because understanding that it was a traumatic event that happened in my past that I have no recollection of, didn't really have a care to have a recollection of it again. So I'm like, oh, okay, so it's just this. So I'm like, so what in my current day is triggering that? Because emotions are warning signs. They're not they're not the effect. They're the warning sign in between the cause and the effect. So if I'm having a conversation with somebody and all of a sudden I feel my heart pacing and I'm getting anxious, I now, as someone who understands what's happening, can stop myself literally and go, okay, what about that is making me uncomfortable? What about that is making me angry? What about that is making me emotional? And then I'll go and sit with myself, and then I'll think about it, and then I'll be like, okay, cool, now I'm good. And so, like, I will never, this also allows you to give yourself and others grace, because you will never look at another person who makes you angry the same or makes you sad the same, because you will look at it as a lesson, because that is the perspective that God gave me, is to look at it like a lesson. And that is like, okay, what is triggering me? Is it the tone of voice? Is it the wording? Is it this? Is it that? Am I the one? Am I seeing it? Because now I can recognize, I've recognized in times where I have been in the wrong because I was being triggered and I didn't have the knowledge to bring myself above that and see it from a different perspective, from a higher perspective, which is your higher self, hence the name, higher self, of saying, okay, so I'm saying this and this, I'm like this because I'm triggered, I need to calm down and back up and see what it is and deal with it and come about it when I can talk about it. And that's not saying that when you have emotions about something that's bad, it's just saying pay attention to them because they're telling you something. Okay? So that's my encouragement to you, is to go into, when you're spiraling about something, keep going. That sounds crazy. Ask yourself, what's the scariest thing? Like what like right now you're about to fail a test, tomorrow you have a test tomorrow that you're not ready for something and you're having anxiety attack about it or whatever. Ask yourself what's the worst case scenario, and keep going down that hole, and keep going down that hole, and keep going down that hole, and keep going down that hole. And you'll come to realize at the end of it that it's nothing, or at the end of it it's actually you. Yeah, I had had this vision, I guess you could say, when I was praying one time when I was writing, because I write a lot, and it was me when I should rewind, when I used to have anxiety. In my head, I would always see it was always two people in my brain, and I was always the observer, and I was always in the corner, and there was this dark shadow, and this dark shadow was just like pressing all these buttons from, like, Joy from Inside Out. Is that right? Yeah, like the kids show, the Disney show. So like, and I'm observing it, and one day I realized, I was like, if I'm not pressing the buttons, then who is? Like, who's pressing the buttons? Like, who's anxiety? Like, who is anxiety? Because it can't be me, because I'm observing it. And someone I've been listening to, Myron Gates, forgot his last name, but I'll put it in there. But he says a quote in one of his YouTube videos, and he says, never try to be anybody else, because there's nobody there. Because if you're trying to be them, you're not there, and they're not there, therefore there's nobody there. And so I'm observing. If I'm observing you, but I'm also feeling it, I'm either it's either me or it's somebody else, because I'm observing it. But at sometimes I can also be it, because I can go down with it. I mean, I feel the spiral. And then my logical side is like, yo, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? But the emotional side is going, going, going. So it's me. And so the image, the vision that I saw was the darkness. And I'm looking at the darkness. I'm like, okay, I'm trying not to look away, because every time I look away, I'm scared. So I'm trying not to be scared. I'm facing the darkness, like I said. Whatever the darkness is, keep going into it. And so I started looking at the darkness. And when I started looking at the darkness, all of a sudden my perspective changed from a perspective of looking at it to a perspective of a little girl. And this little girl had this big sword in her hand. Like, I'm talking Excalibur sword. And I'm talking a little girl, like probably 6 or 7 years old. This big, and she's like barely holding it, like she's shaking, trying to hold it up, like crying. And I'm looking like, and I'm realizing that I'm the child crying. I'm seeing her and I'm like, why is she crying? Like, what's wrong? And I'm looking at what she's looking at, and it's just darkness. Like, there's nothing. It's just pitch black. Anything could be possible at that point. For a child especially, their imagination goes crazy. So I'm like, damn, that's crazy. And so then all of a sudden she sees this light. And so I'm again looking from her perspective. But she doesn't turn around. But there's somebody tapping her on the shoulder, but she won't turn around. And I'm like, is it me? Like, who's tapping her? Who's tapping on the shoulder? Who is this girl? Can't really see who she is, just see that it's a girl. Okay, tapping, tap, 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 tap. Then I'm back to the perspective of observation. Okay, so I'm in audience perspective, right? So now I'm watching it happen in front of me, and it's, I guess you could say, Christ. Back then, which he looked like what we look like, what we see in church, which back then I don't think I would view him like that, see him like that anymore, but that's what I saw. And so he was coming and he's tapping and he's like, hey, like, it's okay, you can give it to me, you can give it to me. And she's like, no, I got it. He's like, no, like, just trust me, just give it to me. No. Finally he says, no. And I'm over here like, boy, give it to him. Do you know who that is? Do you know who that is? Give him the sword. Like, what the heck are you doing? Like, how, what the heck? And so then I'm like, then she turns around and realizes who it is and immediately gives him the sword. Oh, here. Right? And then he turns her around and it's like that scene from the Croods when their cave falls out and then they walk and it's like the new world, except for it's not like a ledge or nothing, it's just, and then I'm like realizing, oh, it's me, that's me, and that dark figure is me. So again, going back to understanding trauma, there is something happening within whatever idea or thought that keeps triggering this anxiety that younger me had to protect herself from at one point. So if that was future of the unknown, because I knew that something bad was coming again or had come, I had built systems in my head to make 7-year-old me okay enough to function in that time and moment, and in that time and moment it served. But now that I'm a grown-up, safe, and I'm not living in a place that requires you to look over your shoulder every 24 minutes and stuff like that, there's no need for it no more. So now I have to destroy and rebuild a new system. So you have to, in a way, have grace with yourself and understand that you're not crazy. There's nothing wrong with you because it took you a long time to understand or whatever. You just didn't know. Like, your younger self is just trying to protect you, and you can literally, and like now I see myself, I'll literally imagine me talking to my younger self, telling her like, hey, it's okay, I got it from here. Because like, younger self did what she could do with the knowledge that she had, but me now, I have knowledge, and I promise that that version of her will never ever go through whatever it is that she went through. And I respect and love myself enough to not keep myself trapped in that cycle, because every time that you're and it's crazy I'm saying aloud, it's crazy because me in that state of mind hearing this, you're probably thinking this trick is crazy. No, I've been there. So I'm saying this from somebody who's been there. If I allowed myself to do that, to spiral, that caused me to not get out of bed, to not go to class, to not go to work, to not see my friends, to not talk to my family, and now everybody's worried about me, or they're whatever it is. If I allowed that for myself, I'm breaking a promise to my younger self. And not only that, I'm in contradiction with the person who I say I serve faithfully, and here I am, like in straight contradiction of what he says about me, which is that I am powerful beyond measure, that I am capable, and that he does everything for my good. So what part of me thinks that he's not going to deliver on that? Either that, or I'm putting too much pressure on myself. Right? We're supposed to do what we can do here, and let God take care of everything else. So if I'm sitting here worrying about what my bank account is going to look like when I'm at 30, who the heck is worrying about what it looks like when I'm 22, 23, 25? You have to physically and mentally be here presently. God also talks about that. Your attention is gold. And a lot of us can't manifest and stay focused and do the things that we want to do because our body is in the present. Our mind is time traveling every 2 seconds to the future and to the past. They say we haven't discovered time future. It's a lie. We do it every single day. When you're thinking about an embarrassing moment that you have and your whole body gets chilled, your body has no concept of time. Your body does not understand time. Therefore, your body is feeling those emotions and whatever things is going on with your body for the first time, like it's actually happening again like the first time. Therefore, you are literally time traveling. Because it's not really happening to you. You didn't actually stand on stage and miss the line wrong. You're not. That was 2 years ago when you were 3. 2 years ago. That was 20 years ago. When you were like 5 in middle school. Like, get over. Come on. Like, come on. Okay? And so, note to self, like, you're not crazy. Note to self, it scientifically makes sense. God made it make sense. God has an example for everything. He tells us what it is. There is spiritual aspects to this as well, depending on what you are struggling with. I am speaking on anxiety and depression because that is what I have suffered from, but there are great podcasts out there talking about other things. But I hope that helped somebody. Genuinely. I cannot tell y'all how long it has taken me to do this podcast because I did not want to false information. I don't know. Whatever it is. I couldn't even tell you what it is. See, look, fear. I'm going down the fear hole. What am I really scared of? I couldn't even tell you what it is. I couldn't even give you a reasonable example of someone watching this video and thinking, this and this and this and this is wrong. I don't know what would be wrong. I don't know. I'm talking about my experience. This is what has helped me, and I'm a happier version of it. I'm a happier and better person because of it. And so I hope that helps somebody, anybody. God does not require you to be perfect. God requires you to be human who makes mistakes, and He is a father who loves you beyond existence itself. And to think that he just left you here with no answers on how to get out, and whether if it's how to get out of your head, whether if it's how to get out of poverty, whether if it's how to get out of addiction, whatever it is, God left answers for everything, everything, everywhere. He's like, literally, existence in the universe is in everything around us, every grain of sand, everything. You matter, and you have purpose, and your Father upstairs, or whatever y'all want to call it, if it's Mother Nature, if it's the universe, like that stuff, it's not by accident. You're not by accident. So everything that you're going through right now is to make you better, to become something, because you're a gift to the world. But to become a gift and to be able to use those gifts, you first have to be deconstructed of all the negative bull crap that this world tells us that you are, because you're none of those things. You're what God tells you you are. And you wouldn't be surprised how well programmed it is into your subconscious, and he has to unprogram that, and that takes time, and that takes trial, and that takes walking through the fire. How the heck do you expect to get to the other side and have all these stories and stuff if you never go through the trials? So I'm not telling you to, like, what you're going through is a good thing. No, it's not. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. I wouldn't wish it on the devil himself. But I'm telling you, it gets better. It's not a lie. People aren't lying to you. Yes, I'm this spectacle person who like didn't believe like all those little grass is green on the other side, stuff like that didn't make sense. But when you research it, if you scientifically want to get down to it, it's scientifically undeniable. You matter.